The Community Police Review Commission was created to promote public confidence in the professionalism and accountability of the City of Riverside's Police Department. The commission consists of an all-civilian panel of members from across the city. The commission's roles include advising the mayor and city council on all police relations issues, reviewing and investigating officer-involved deaths, receiving complaints, and conducting hearings on misconduct against sworn Riverside police officers, making policy suggestions, and bringing community concerns to the attention of the Riverside Police Department. If you're interested in learning more about how you can serve or for information on the commission, visit riversideca.gov/CPRC.
Welcome to another edition of the Riverside TV Game of the Week. I'm Nick Rice, joined by Jeff Gorham. We're here at Zach Erb Stadium on the campus of Notre Vista High School. Braves head coach Ken Battendorf yet again has this team playing well to start the year, 6-1 and fresh off a thrilling victory last week.
Well, I'll tell you what, they played the two toughest teams in the league with Ramona and Hillcrest, and they're playing their biggest rivalry, the longest rivalry in the Alvord District, La Sierra versus Norte Vista, and this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, we saw La Sierra thrash Paris the last time we covered them a couple weeks ago, and since then they got their quarterback back, which has to do wonders for that offense.
Well, I'll tell you what, La Sierra, their biggest thing is they want to go for an upset. They want to be a giant killer, and what better place to do it but on the home field of Norte Vista. Coach Gary Hedlund has his guys focused, and I'll tell you what, they have an outside shot tonight.
All right, Norte Vista, they have to get off of that, certainly against Hillcrest, emotional performance. How do you think they'll fare knowing that 7 days later they've got to put that win behind them and focus on this opponent?
Well, I'll tell you what, you can't have a letdown. Like I said, you beat the two best teams in the league, and you got to go through the rest of the teams. You got to play smart, and you got to play like every day is a championship game.
Norte Vista and La Sierra, the kickoff's coming up next in a prime matchup between two River Valley rivals here from Norte Vista High School in Riverside, California. The Riverside TV Game of the Week is coming up next.
Norte Vista and La Sierra with Riverside TV. It's the Game of the Week from Zach Erb Stadium in Riverside, California. Nick Rice joined by Jeff Gorham. These games are flying by. We're already midway through the league year. And the Braves, as we take a look at Norte Vista and their red on the sideline, are fresh off a thrilling victory against Hillcrest. They come into this game at 6-1 overall and 2-0 in the league. They battle the La Sierra Eagles fresh off a tough loss. They come in at 2-5 in the 2019 season.
And I'll tell you what, we've seen the best of La Sierra, and we've seen the not-so-good of La Sierra. The last time we had the Eagles was against Paris. They won 27-0 here on this field. It was a great game for the Eagles, and it was great momentum going into River Valley League play.
La Sierra off of that win. All right, they're looking to rebound tonight. The Eagles led by head coach Gary Hedlund. Last year, this team won 5 games. That was the most wins they had in any season since 2011 as we take a look at the coin toss now. Meanwhile, Norte Vista comes into this game fresh off an impressive performance against Hillcrest. These two teams both are strong offensively. They've got their starting quarterbacks in the fold now, with injuries becoming a bit of a factor for the Eagles, but they're getting healthy now, as is Norte Vista, for this critical matchup tonight.
Well, you know, there's two different things you want to look at. You want to look at La Sierra, and they're looking at, hey, there's nothing to lose. Go out and play, leave it all on the field, play as hard as you can, and try to get that upset. On the other side of the coin, you have Norte Vista, who's highly ranked in their Division 10. They're playing for a high seed. They're playing for a number 1 seed going into the CIF playoffs. You get a number 1 seed, you have a shot. A good shot to win a championship, and that has eluded Ken Battendorf here in his 26 years as head coach of the Braves.
Well, we'll dive into those playoff rankings and for the future scenarios for the Eagles throughout the remainder of this year in a moment. Norte Vista and La Sierra, however, meet and these two teams are the closest together in terms of distance among the River Valley League, so it's a hotly contested matchup. Salcedo kicks the onside, and there was some contact on the field as La Sierra's Chris Darris appeared to be towards the receiving end of that ball. The Eagles are dressed in the whites with the red numbers. Meanwhile, Notre Vista is in the all reds. Notre Vista won the toss, elected to defer, which means the Eagles will begin possession, and this is a good start for them at their own 48-yard line.
Yeah, and if they can control the ball, take their time offensively, they can make this a game. If they make it a track meet, it could be a long night for the Eagles because the speed, the strength, and the size of Notre Vista is really unmatched right now against this relatively small Eagle team.
We've got the crowd set up for tonight and a wonderful stadium, Zach Erb, the site in Riverside on the campus of Notre Vista High School for the game of the week. There's a look at La Sierra quarterback Justin Esquivel, who was out the last time we saw the Eagles in action. Elijah Randall is taken down for a loss. He should be one of the leading tote getters for La Sierra in this football game. An Eagles offense that has been stout, nearly 300 yards per game for La Sierra this year.
And La Sierra will do a lot of different things offensively. They'll show some spread. They'll run some power offense. Coach Gary Hedlund and his staff will try to throw a lot of different looks at Norte Vista and test that secondary. We saw last week Norte Vista's safeties and defensive backs were tested, and that was really the Achilles heel for the Braves versus that Hillcrest team.
And just what was an incredible game. I'm sure you were in awe. Your jaw to the floor after that incredible fourth quarter. Esquivel's hit as he throws and finds the excellent dual threat Humberto Jara, who motors out of bounds at the 49-yard line. Jara was thrust into the quarterback spot for La Sierra when they played Paris the last time we covered them on Riverside TV. He is arguably their best receiver and best rusher in this incredible offense. Humberto Jara, number 21. And he's one of a couple of sophomore offensive threats who we will talk about throughout this football game tonight. What is a hotly contested league, the River Valley, midway through. It's the third of 5 games for these two out of the conference. Neutral zone infraction.
Yeah, looking at, remember last week, Christian Gerardo had 2 huge interceptions in the fourth quarter to really save that game versus Hillcrest. He is somebody we need to keep an eye on, number 5 for the Braves.
Yeah, him and Micah Gaines were exchanging positions, and for Gerardo, who can play linebacker, cornerback, and safety, they moved him around last week, and those 2 interceptions were basically the backbreakers of what was otherwise just an incredible performance for the Hillcrest Trojans on the road. Against the blitz, Esquivel fires to the leaping Jara, and he is hammered a yard short of the first down. Micah Gaines, the Braves sophomore cornerback, makes the incredible open field stop, setting up 4th and short.
Yeah, Micah Gaines, a transfer from La Sierra, so playing against his old team here tonight with a big-time tackle there. And 4th and short. Let's see.
Now the Eagles are going to keep the offense out there to go for it. On the opening drive of the game, Esquivel under center. Quarterback sneak. And a cloud of dust. All right, the Eagles' offense has been strong this year, over 21 points per game. And their offense certainly wasn't the issue last week in their 40-28 loss to Jurupa Valley. And the Eagles, now at 0-2 in the league, are in desperate need of a win tonight. That 4th down stop for the Notre Vista defense brings out Braves quarterback Daniel Gonzalez and one of the greatest running backs in this league so far in 2019, Eddie Elaine, number 1. He's the single setback for Notre Vista to begin this game. Fresh off the 4 and out by La Sierra. Toss to Elaine, who explodes past the first wave and slips a tackle at the 40. Eddie Elaine, touchdown, Notre Vista.
You got to be happy if you can run plays like that. 1 play and out. Eddie Elaine, the true sophomore brother of Freddie Holly, the running back starting running back of the Rainbows of Hawaii. So that big sophomore getting his first carry.
Eddie Elaine scores his 39th career rushing touchdown. That's just in 20 career games. All right, the superlatives do not fully describe just how illustrious this man's young career has been as the running back for Notre Vista. 3 touchdowns last week in Notre Vista's critical win against Hillcrest, and he scampers on his first play of this drive for a 57-yard go-ahead touchdown. Notre Vista, less than 3 minutes in, leads 6-0. Salcedo on for the extra point. Corrado will hold for the Braves. Salcedo so far perfect on PATs this year, and he knocks through another one for the Braves. 7-0. Just an incredible run from Eddie Elaine, a sophomore running back, 5'10", 170 pounds. He has the terrific mix of athleticism, speed, and strength that makes him really the go-to runner on this roster. The Braves have 4 or 5 different capable runners, including juniors and seniors, but Eddie Elaine, kudos to this kid who steps in as a freshman. Very few freshmen play at the varsity level, and he immediately makes an impact.
Well, let's, just think of the top rushers Norte Vista's had the last years, mentioning his older brother, Freddie Holly, had over his career in 2 years had 6,031 yards. But they've had some other great ones. They've had Eric Malesio, who ran not only 4,459 yards, but it's the 4th highest total in the history of high school football in this country.
Really?
Not in the city, not in the state, but in the history of the United States. He is the 4th highest rushing yards in 1 year in the history of high school football at just over 4,459 yards. He also holds the single game rushing record. Get this, 573 yards.
I'm dizzy.
Those are video game numbers.
Yeah, that's Madden 20 type stuff. Eddie Elaine, I mean, he has a measly 957, but given his production over the course of a year and a half, I mean, the sky's the limit for this kid. And really, I'd say complacency has to be the only thing slowing this kid down. He is that talented. And La Sierra attempts to answer the Braves' scoring drive as they'll set up shop at their own 21 to begin their second possession. And right away they go ground, and Notre Vista brings the blitz. Oscar Godoy was one of the first Braves in on the stop.
And that front line of Norte Vista is strong and powerful. La Sierra is down a little bit the last couple weeks with injuries. A couple other players are not playing tonight. So they're going to definitely have their hands full with this Norte Vista defense.
Well, speaking of video game numbers, the Braves are only giving up 10 points a game. And if you wipe out the 20 they gave up against Hillcrest, I mean, you're looking at a team that really gives up only 1 scoring drive per week. Just an incredible defense posed by Notre Vista and veteran head coach Ken Bettendorf. Esquivel dances, then takes off. The quarterback has some room to the outside and is tripped up near the original line of scrimmage. Gilbert Garcia, the senior middle backer, records his 69th tackle as Esquivel faces 3rd down and 9.
Yeah, this is senior night. To all the seniors beforehand with the band, the cheerleaders, the cheer squad, I should say, and the football team all got honored before the game. So this is the last home game for Norte Vista, as they will probably most likely get a home game in the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll certainly dive into that. Notre Vista 6-1 overall, 2-0 in the league. They essentially secured, certainly a win tonight would guarantee it a playoff spot in Division 10 no matter what else happens in the league this year. 3rd down and 9. Esquivel with a 4-man rush, sheds the sack from Godoy, then is dropped at the 14-yard line. Joshua Mameli makes the play for Notre Vista.
And if you watch Novi, they are going to run blitz every single time. They're going to test that line, and they're going to go from outside in, funneling, I should say, the Eagle offense down the middle of the field.
And then Eagles offense, which last week racked up 28 against Jurupa Valley. And we saw them against Paris establish a heavy dose of the ground game, but the Eagles have been hampered by some injuries throughout the course of this season and are fresh off 3 and outs. Chris Darris, the punt, high snap, and Darris gets rid of it. And the ball is muffed at the 41-yard line. We'll see who got on the bottom of that pile as Noda Vista running back Eddie Elaine, I'm sure, is licking his chops. 1 play and a 57-yard scoring ground on the previous possession for Noda Vista. Let's take a look at the Braves. And so far this season, they come in at 6-1. They have won both their league games, and those victories came in impressive fashion. Their offense in the opener knocked out the Ramona Rams. Then we saw that defense with Gerardo's 2 interceptions knock out Hillcrest last week.
And remember, Ramona came into that game coming in at 5-0. Noda Vista beat them by 5 touchdowns. That tells you how potent this offense is and how, like you said, holding teams to 10 points. You got to tip your hat to Coach Martinez, who does a great job defensively for the Braves.
Eddie Elaine, his first run was a touchdown, not so much on this play, as he is wrapped up by Seth Morgan. The senior nose guard makes the stop after a 2-yard gain. The lone loss for the Braves, who are dressed in their red tonight, came in week 4, a 16-12, week 4, week 3. I don't know how they do it at the CIF deal, but it was game 4. The Temecula Valley Golden Bears beat them 16-12. Since that game, Noda Vista has won 3 straight. Gonzalez dumps it to the left, and he finds his receiver that way. It's a 1-yard completion outside to set up 3rd down for the Braves. Daniel Gonzalez, for a run-heavy offense, Noda Vista, over 85% of their snaps are runs. Gonzalez throws quickly and gains a couple. That'll catch a defense off guard.
Yeah, and you watch it. They do run a smash-mouth type football game, as there was a penalty. Looks like it was a... This is going to be a big one. This looks like it's probably a personal foul on Noda Vista.
Yeah.
Which will bring up the 2nd.
Well, that's a way to slow down Noda Vista.
Make him mad. Throw some penalties.
Yeah.
And like I was saying, Noda Vista runs a smash-mouth double-wing type offense. And you're going to see run off tackle, until they find holes in that great offensive line. Really, the right side of the line is all seniors, left side all sophomores. So there is a bright future still for the Braves here.
So that short completion to Michael Quintana for the moment was wiped off by way of penalty. Meanwhile, La Sierra comes into this game at 2-5 on the season. And the Eagles, we saw, knock out Paris 27-0. They also shut out San Bernardino 42-0 in the opener. But in their 2 conference games, the Eagles 54-0 lost to Patriot. Then I would say one of the most important games of the year, the Eagles offense was great against the Jurupa Valley Jaguars in what was a 40-28 defeat. They look to get back on track tonight, down 7-0 early to the Braves. Gonzalez swings it right. The pass is complete to Christian Gerardo, who breaks a tackle at the 40. And on 3rd and 21, the veteran Gerardo gains 16 to set up 4th and 5. And maybe even 4 in the play. Christian Gerardo, of course, the 2 interceptions last week. He also has 4 catches coming in as a wide receiver and is one of quite a few players for the Braves who plays both ways. And that sets up 4th and 4. Noda Vista will go for it. Toss to Elaine, who follows his blocks and has the 1st down at the 20. A foot race to the 10. Touchdown, Noda Vista.
Elaine so far making it look easy as he's piling on some yards. I don't know if he'll get to that 573 mark, but so far he's having himself a pretty nice game.
I'd say it's a good pace if he wants to get there, as Elaine scores his 40th career rushing touchdown, and that came on 4th down. Eagles had them stopped, But Notre Vista moves the sticks. Salcedo will attempt the extra point for a Braves offense rolling on all cylinders, even with the infraction against the offensive line on a personal foul earlier in that possession. They've taken a 2-score lead. Nick Rice, Jeff Gorham, glad you're with us. Riverside TV Game of the Week features this River Valley matchup tonight, then an Inland Valley matchup tomorrow between Riverside Pauley and the Lakeside Lancers. Extra point is good by Salcedo. Let's take a look at that incredible effort on 4th and 4. He got a block from his quarterback. Very rarely do you see a team use their quarterback pulling and springing loose Elaine. That is a 35-yard scoring run for sophomore Eddie Elaine.
So that puts him over 80 for the game so far.
Oh,
Let's see.
very rarely do you see a calculator out during a football game. I like the idea. We're rooting for Elaine and his efforts this year because Notre Vista most likely will take a look at them in the postseason, as a win would certainly secure a playoff spot for Notre Vista. This kickoff from Salcedo is juggled and reeled in at the 19-yard line by Elijah Randall, and he has nowhere to go. For those of you joining us, there on the bottom ticker, Day of the Dead's coming up November 2nd, 1 to 10 p.m. at White Park, downtown Riverside. And Riverside TV covers just a number of incredible events in the city of Riverside, including this one, Jeff.
Hey, don't forget, Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead, returns Saturday, November 2nd at White Park. As you mentioned, in downtown Riverside from 1 to 10 p.m. It's the 16th anniversary of this traditional Mexican festival. It's held to celebrate with food, art, music, dance, and most importantly, the beautifully decorated, personalized altars honoring loved ones that have